Welcome back, Coffee Crew. You're here listening to Janelle and me on Coffee Unlimited. And if you are brand new to our podcast, we wanted to share that we are two friends. We've worked together for many years. We're moms. We love to discuss what's currently going on in our lives and whatever topic is really in our hearts and on our minds. And so this is a casual conversation where we pretty much go everywhere. We talk about all kinds of things. You can go back to our channel and our episode history and see we talk about things like motherhood, leadership. Sometimes we even dip our toe into politics too. We do go there and we talk about crushes and flirting and all the things that two girlfriends would talk about. So I'm here today with Janelle. So excited to be back reconnecting after a few weeks off where we were both taking some vacation time with our families. And I was super inspired because Janelle sent me a text earlier today about this topic of life and appreciating life and what the secret is. And so we're going to unpack that today. Janelle,
Yeah.
so good to
Yeah.
see you and be back and seeing you look so beautiful with your long hair after
Thanks,
not seeing
Danielle.
you for 4 weeks.
I know it's been 4 weeks. It is nice to be back. Actually, it's really nice to connect with you again. And yeah, I sent this text today because I came across a quote yesterday. And as soon as I read it, well, I first shared it with Carl. He was the first person I sent it to. And then I knew that I wanted to talk to you about it. And the quote was, it says, "What if the key to living your best life is slowing down enough to enjoy the one you already have?" And that really stopped me in my tracks because I think that I have been in pursuit of my best life for many years. And and I think that a lot of the choices I've made, whether career wise or vacation wise or anything, a lot of choices that I have made in my life were in service of living my best life. And I don't know if I ever had a clear picture of what the end game was. I don't know if I had a clear picture of where I was going. And when I read this quote, I thought, maybe I'm already here. And actually, I
Yeah.
think I am. You and I have talked about this in previous conversations that we're both really happy in our lives right now and really content and really at peace in our lives. And so I do think that we've, in many ways, and I don't want to speak for you, Danielle, but I think that I have reached my best life. And so I don't have to strive anymore. There's nowhere else I need to go per se. But what I do need to do is slow down and enjoy this life that I do have. And so I wanted to ask you, Danielle, do you think, and 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 I want you to answer it personally for yourself, but also for our coffee crew that's listening. Do you think that many of them, have this opportunity that if they want to live their best life, it's right under their noses, and all they need to do is slow down and appreciate it, the one that they have? Do you think it's that simple?
I do. When you read that quote, when I read it through the text, and then when you read it out loud right now, there's just like a exhale that I organically feel with that, like just slowing down, recognizing that it's right here. This is your best life.
Hmm.
And I think I mean, there are a couple of things, but I feel like we are conditioned to believe that we are not enough. We don't have enough. We're not doing enough. We're not pretty enough, young enough, old enough, like whatever it is, not wealthy enough. This whole notion of not enough
Hmm.
is a conditioned thought, a conditioned perspective. Because I don't think children, when they're born, and we both have children, like they feel complete and whole as long as there's safety and they have nourishment and all of that and love. it's they feel enough, right? They
Mm,
don't feel like, oh, I'm missing something. It's
hmm
only through the conditioning of marketing and society and all of that. We're like, okay, now I need to have this toy. And then now I need to have the Chanel bag. And now I need
Yeah.
to have this luxury car. Now I need to have a 10,000 square foot home with a basketball court that looks like Drake's, which I just saw the
Yeah.
other day. I was like, that's what I want.
Ooh, add that to my wish list.
Exactly. But it's like, right, it's this invisible carrot that is dangled in front of us. Like as soon as we reach a point where we
Mm,
have an understanding of television and all of that. So I think if we can strip that away and come to a place of self-reflection, and if I look back 10 years ago, I was like, okay, I set some goals,
hmm
which we did a lot of at Lululemon. What's that
hmm
10-year goal? All this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm living that goal right now.
Mm,
No, so the practice of reflecting and being like, okay, where am I now? What did I
hmm
want? Oh, I'm here. Like this is, let me appreciate what I have right now.
Yeah. I think I saw somewhere recently a similar quote to what you just said that 10 years ago, the life I had now was my goal. And
Right?
we forget to recognize when we've reached it
Mm-hmm.
because of our conditioning to continuously move the bar and change the goal. Like, okay, I got the 2,000 square foot house. Now I want the 4,000 square foot house. I had
Right.
I had the vacation to Mexico. Now I want the vacation to Bali. You know, there's a
Exactly.
constantly moving target of more, 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 more. And so I do think, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive to have new experiences or it's bad to have more, but what I think this quote is really hitting at is don't forget to appreciate, stop and smell the roses, people. Stop and smell the
Mm-hmm.
roses. You have a great life right now. And you're going to let it pass you by. You're going to forget to celebrate. You're going to forget to appreciate and enjoy it. Yes, you can keep having goals. You can keep having desires to do new things and to reach new heights. And take time to appreciate the journey and take time to appreciate all that you've reached right now. And that's really the key to happiness, I think, because what it does is it brings us back to the present moment. And I know you talk about this a lot, Danielle, of being in the present moment. And that's what one of the things I appreciated so much from your retreat in Costa Rica that I attended about a month ago was this opportunity to constantly come back to the present moment and appreciate our surroundings there in Costa Rica, appreciate the community that we were living within, and appreciate the food that was right in front of us. And I think that it really is like that's where you find your everyday joys is being in the present moment. So I'm just really energized by this notion. And I've had these moments of awareness before of appreciating the present. And what I'm recognizing is I need to be reminded of that, or I need to build that practice because if I look back, I read that quote yesterday, the one that I sent you today. I read that yesterday. And if I look back on my journal, to a week ago, it's like all these goals that I want, where I want to travel to. And so my mind constantly goes to the horizon. That's just how I'm conditioned. My mind goes to what's next, where am I going next, what is the next big adventure? And I just need to take time to slow down once in a while and really just soak it in. Like, wow, look where we're at right now. Look at this beautiful family we have. Look at
Yeah.
this beautiful moment we're having right now this evening around the dinner table. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think I'm curious, if we think about our listeners, what are some practical tools or tips we can offer them to help them slow down enough to enjoy the life that they already have? So, how might someone put this into practice, in your opinion?
I think there are a few ways. I love your practice of journaling, and you have
Hmm.
incredible handwriting. I'm still waiting for this journal planner from Janelle. So I think the practice of journaling is so profound in for many reasons. But one of the things that obviously meditation, and
Hmm.
removing distractions, so
Hmm.
monotasking, and one of the things that I'm a big advocate of, and you heard me say this many times, it's like no phones at the table, right? And
Hmm.
even we would have our morning breakfast in silence so that we could really be in the present moment.
You
And
as a
whatever comes
family.
up.
You
Oh,
as a
no, I
family?
mean on
Oh,
retreat.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
on retreat for
No, I
sure. Yes.
wish. I mean, we do that with the phone, but no, we don't have meals in silence as a family. But I think that would be a good thing to do. Maybe once Blanca's in Vancouver, Scott and I will do that. Like, let's sit down and let's just, but we do say grace,
Oh,
even though we're not
yes.
religious, but we
Hmm.
just have like a moment of gratitude
Mm.
before we eat. So there's some practices that we do incorporate in, but yeah, it's just like not being on your phone when you eat. I mean, eating is
Hmm.
something that everyone is doing,
Yeah.
hopefully a few times a day. So it's a great opportunity to practice present moment awareness.
Hmm.
So that I would say that's a easy way to kind of get into shift into that present moment awareness, but then also using your senses. So even if we're not eating, so looking through the lens of sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste, right? You can be
Mm.
like, okay, what do I see right now? And maybe I think there's something like, okay, identify 5 things that you can see, identify 4 things that you can hear, identify 3 things that you can smell, 2 things that you can touch, 1 thing that you can taste. You can do something like that. It doesn't
Mm.
need to be maybe that complicated. Maybe it's just like 1 thing I can see, 1 thing I can hear, 1 thing, because your senses will bring you right back to the present moment, where
Mm.
it's the gateway as well.
I really like that. I was just imagining doing that with the kids, like just stopping maybe when because we were recently, I was on a long road trip with my oldest daughter, Layla, and, we make stops along the way. But I was thinking, oh, that would have been a fun little practice. Every place we stopped, if we tapped into our 5 senses and we each share, because she'll see different things than I see, she'll hear different things than I hear. But we could
Yeah.
appreciate wherever we were in that moment, we could appreciate it together. I think that would be really fun. And it's such an easy thing to do is to tap into the senses. I really like
Hmm.
that. It's very, very practical. Another thing I was thinking about, those are that really good examples that anyone can do in any moment. Another thing I was thinking about, so if we think about the key is to slow down, well, that means that we're going too fast. So we're going fast in probably the physical sense. Maybe we're busy, busy, busy. And then probably also in the mental sense, like our mind is going a lot of places. And so I think I was trying to think to myself, like, what are some things I might have to do or some choices I might have to make to slow down? And one of them I was thinking about was on a weekend. So let's take it any given Saturday for our family with 3 kids. Any given Saturday, there are 3 different sports competitions to go to for the various kids. And I could rush between all 3 to try to make all 3, like make a basketball game here, a gymnastics competition here, volleyball game here, or another basketball game. Or if we practice slowing down, maybe making the choice and telling one of the kids, you know what, this weekend I'm not going to attend your basketball tournament. Next weekend I will, but this weekend I'm going to just go to gymnastics and I'm going to be there, not rush away, not be thinking about traffic to get to the next event, and
Yeah.
really just slowing down and taking in this gymnastics competition that's right before me. Because I guarantee my daughter will notice a shift in me if I'm
Mm.
not thinking about the next thing I need to go to and the next event that I need to rush off to, or the snack I need to buy on the way to give to my son, So I think there's some things like we'll have to make some actual choices that might be difficult to make. And maybe it's maybe, choosing not to go to a basketball tournament isn't that difficult for some people. But then we could even think even bigger, Danielle. Like you and I have both left the corporate workplace. And that was a really big intentional slowing down I chose for my life. And I think you would say the same. I think you and I have both talked about this. Like we intentionally chose to leave those corporate 9 to 5 jobs to create more space in our life, to slow down, to get out of the kind of chaotic energy of a corporate workspace. And so, what about maybe our coffee crew listeners that are thinking of that? Like, you know what? I want to slow down in my life, but my current work environment or, whatever the situation might be, is not serving that. Like, I don't know that I can slow down enough if I keep things the way they are. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, I do want to pause here because I also believe this other statement that nothing changes if nothing changes. So
Mm.
if you want something to change in your life, you have to change something. Something has to change.
Mm-hmm.
So slowing down, you have to make some choices. You have to change some things in your current way of operating to slow down. So let's I kind of want to go there. What if someone is listening and saying, "Gosh, I really do want to slow down. I want to be more present with my kids, or I want more time to do the things that bring me joy." And this big barrier currently is my job. What do you say to them, Danielle? What do you say to them?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Go on a yoga retreat and then like come back and take a couple months and then
And
quit your job.
then
No.
quit.
I want to just, I can't believe, like, thank you for pulling back the curtain on being a mom of 3 kids who are in 3 different activities.
Yeah.
I never experienced that. Like, the girls
Yeah.
were, I just have 2, and they were both in ballet at the same place, and they pretty
Yeah.
much stopped at the same time, too. So I was like, okay, one and done. But I mean, I can't believe that you go to 3. That like I was starting to have some
Mhm.
anxiety thinking about, going to watch gymnastics and then like picking up the snacks and going to
Yeah.
basketball. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How about just saying, kids, you're on your own. I will come once a season.
Yeah.
So you tell me when,
Yeah.
when you want mommy to show up because I am not coming every Saturday, okay? Uber yourself around.
I love it.
Get
And you
your
know
own
what?
snacks.
Yeah, that's okay too. I think that's really important that I actually have this friend here in Vancouver. I admire her so much. She goes to hardly any of her daughter's
Oh, I
things.
love this. We need a friend like
Our
that.
kind of people. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is our kind
let's
of
lower
people.
the bar on motherhood.
Let's lower the bar.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she doesn't even understand the sport that well, but she won't go to anything, but she'll go to at least like one tournament. But to your point, yeah, like
Yeah,
you tell me which tournament do you want me at? I'll be there.
exactly.
Just get
Exactly.
one.
Okay, maybe next season that's what you can do, Janelle, so you can,
Yes.
have a life on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so back to, I know the whole job thing. It's so amazing. Like I feel like now not having that corporate 9 to 5,
Yeah.
the freedom that we both have, um, the spontaneity where I can be like, oh, do we want to go to Hawaii next week? Or, right,
Yeah.
just like the flexibility and just the freedom.
Yes.
But I know not everybody has the means, but assuming you have the means, I
Yeah.
feel like, the one of the big barriers is this identity
Mm.
that we start to think that we are our jobs. And you talked about this or talked about thoughts and observing your thoughts in your most recent newsletter in a Monday mindset,
Mm-hmm.
where, right, you're like, you are not your thoughts, but for the longest time, that's what you believed. And I think we all have believed that we are
Yeah.
our thoughts. And so a big thought, a recurring thought is like, I work, whatever
Mm-hmm.
that position is. And depending on the position, sometimes you're even more attached to that identity, right? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I was less attached to my identity of I am a waitress than like I am the director of whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But there's more pride in that one. So there's pride, ego, and
Yeah.
attachment in that. So I think for many of us, it's that barrier of losing the identity, the fear of if I quit this job, then who am I after that?
Mm-hmm.
What is my
Yeah.
identity? How will I be introduced?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Stay at home mom, stay at home dad, right? Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
those kind of thoughts that
Yeah.
come.
Mm-hmm. And an attachment to being that person. And you said it like there's pride. There's pride in this title. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I would look on LinkedIn. It's very common for a Nike person to have on their LinkedIn profile their headline, former Nike. They're currently working somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let's say they're
But
at
I was at
Lululemon.
Nike.
But instead of saying I'm the director of something at Lululemon, the first thing that is under their name is former Nike. Like
Yeah.
because that is what
So,
they have such pride that they worked at
totally.
Nike, and there's so much prestige that goes with having experience at Nike. So they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
lose that identity, and they don't want to lose that recognition. But in
Yeah.
reality, they don't need it. They don't have
No.
to have that. But yeah, I think people really become attached to it and have pride in it. And so I think it's a real challenge for a lot of people, this identity. And it's multi-layered. So there's the one layer of I've accomplished this level. So let's say I got to this level of position. I've put in the work and I've accomplished this. So I don't want to lose that.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. But then what it's also layered within is this societal expectation that, or not even expectation, a societal recognition that that is success. That is
Mm-hmm.
good. That you climbed the ladder and you got to this level. That is a mark of that. That deserves a star. When in reality, there's no such thing as there is no star. Who created the star in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say someone who was a stay-at-home mom, which is a job, a working mom, that isn't a bigger star? That's a better star. That's a more important star. Who's to say that?
Mm-hmm.
It, someone in the history said this is a mark of success. This is what you should go to college for to obtain this opportunity to climb a ladder and run a big team. So it's not just that you've put in work and had a job, it's that you've succeeded in society's eyes,
Mm-hmm.
which is really difficult to walk away from. And it's difficult. There's a big fear of losing that.
Yeah.
Uh, but
The
what you and I,
conditioning,
it's a
right? It's
conditioning.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what you and I have done, and what we've realized, and what countless people that I know have realized who have left their jobs and done something else or done nothing, is that, oh, you know what? It's actually not bad. I'm actually fine. I'm actually happier. I'm actually
Mm-hmm.
okay. I'm just fine without that job and without working in that
Yeah.
company. But there is a big fear of the unknown. Until you've done it, you don't know that you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope everyone has a chance to do that or takes the
Hmm.
opportunity to leave a job without another job, assuming that their
Yeah.
finances are right. But
Yeah.
I mean, that too, it's like, where's the conditioning?
Yeah.
The like I've made a decent or high salary, and then I've also made minimum wage. Like I've
Yeah.
gone through and made nothing as well,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So I've had different income tiers throughout my life,
Yes.
and we adapt, right? Like
Hmm.
I'm not, the more I was
Yeah.
making, the more I was spending. I didn't have any time to
Yeah.
cook, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything was like takeout, DoorDash, or going out to dinner. And now, I mean, I like make the best meals at home. And I'm like, This is amazing. And that's something I just love. I love grocery shopping. I love cooking. I love eating. So all of this brings me so much joy. But when I was in the 9 to 5, it's like, no, like squeeze in your lunch break
Yeah.
and just like grab this. It's
Mhm.
like, no, I don't want to grab anything. I want to sit
Mm-mm.
down, say grace, chew my food mindfully, and then repeat.
Oh,
But
I
yeah, I
love
think
it. It's
yeah,
so
it's like
true. It's so true. What are we giving up? When we're in those jobs, we're giving something up. And yes, when we leave the jobs, we give something up, but we're also gaining something different. There's a swap that's happening.
yeah.
And if the swap is making you happier and bringing you more joy, then it's 100% it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, joy is the best thing you can have in your life. Money itself does not bring you joy
Yeah.
or peace. Actually, Carl said this just today. He said more money might bring you some ease, because you don't have to worry about paying for things. You can outsource things. You
Mm-hmm.
can hire people to help you with stuff that can bring ease into your life, but it doesn't bring peace.
Mm,
Money itself doesn't bring peace.
yeah.
And I certainly have learned that. It doesn't bring me
Mm-hmm.
joy or peace. So yeah, well, Danielle, thanks for unpacking this topic with me and sharing some of your tips and guidance. I really like this notion of tapping into your senses at any given moment, identifying something that you smell, you hear, you touch, you taste. It's a really practical way, an easy way to get into the present moment. So thank you, Danielle. Thank you to all of our listeners who we are affectionately referring to as our coffee crew from now on. So if you're listening, you're part of our coffee crew. And if you enjoyed this, check back in next week. We will likely be releasing another episode.
Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We'll keep you on your toes. But thanks again, Danielle. It was so good to see you. We'll see you again
Thanks,
soon.
Janelle. Bye.